The whole world was stunned when a king, known everywhere for his cruelty and harsh, iron-fisted rule, suddenly decided to change himself. His people used to pray for only two things: that someone would overthrow him, or that death would finally take him away. But one day, the king made an announcement so shocking that everyone was left speechless. He declared that he was giving up his old tyrannical ways. From that day forward, he said, there would be no more oppression or injustice. He promised that his rule would stand only on fairness and integrity. That single promise made people start calling him the just and noble king. For months, he kept his word. The people themselves saw his fairness and kindness. They began to praise him, pray for him, and speak of him with respect and admiration. But one question lingered in everyone's mind. What made the king change so drastically? Eventually, one of his ministers gathered the courage to ask. He wanted to know what moment had triggered such a transformation. The king stayed quiet for a while, took a deep breath, and then said, "One day, I was riding my horse through the forest at full speed when I saw something that burned itself into my heart and mind forever. A wild dog was chasing a fox. To save itself, the fox dove into a burrow, but not before the dog bit deeply into its leg, leaving it crippled for life. The sight was terrible, but the story didn't stop there. A little while later, that same dog began barking at a man. The man, furious, picked up a heavy stone and threw it at the dog, snapping its leg. The dog screamed in pain, but the chain of events still wasn't over. Not long after, that same man passed by a horse. The horse suddenly kicked him, shattering his knee. The man fell and never walked properly again. Then the horse, after hurting the man, kept running until it stumbled into a ditch and broke its own leg. That scene shook me to my core. I realized right then, evil always creates more evil. He went on, whenever something plays out before your eyes, ask yourself why God is showing it to you. Maybe it's a warning about your own sins and injustices. Hearing all this, a wicked thought crept into the minister's mind. He figured the king's new gentle nature could be taken advantage of. Maybe he could twist the king's kindness to serve his own goals. But as he took a step forward with that thought in his heart, he slipped on the stairs, fell, and broke his neck. His own evil became the cause of his death. This story teaches a powerful lesson. Wrongdoing never goes unanswered. Every act of injustice brings its own payback in this world. And if someone escapes it here, that doesn't mean they're free. It just means their judgment awaits them in the afterlife, where every deed will be accounted for. That's why the king abandoned oppression and chose the path of goodness. In return, he earned honor, peace, and love. We, too, should care for the people around us. Cruelty and wrongdoing don't just hurt others, they destroy our own dignity and peace of mind. So I hope you take something from this story. Don't think of it as just an old legend. This is the truth of every human life. All it takes is reflection and awareness.